welcome to today's video. I'm going to have to set this up a little bit. This started off as that it was going to be a how to do something video, and then I decided that the job was too complex, that it wasn't going to be a how to, but just going to be kind of a take a look and see what you're going to get yourself into video. And then I decided I wasn't going to do a video at all because it got kind of complicated. And now I'm back to that this is going to be a little conglomerate of videos and photos to show this project, not with the intention of showing you how to do it, but again just with the intention of showing you what you're getting yourself into. I'm going to do voiceovers later over the photos that I've taken along the way, and little video clips here and there of some of the more important areas of what was going on. But to summarize this job came about due to a coolant leak, antifreeze leaking from between the head and the block on a Dodge Caravan. After digging into it, I found the source of the problem, that there was a cracked head bolt which allowed a gap to form between the head and the block, which was causing the coolant to leak out, more notably after I replaced a faulty radiator. So nothing but leaks on this car, but I purchased this car so cheap that it was worth the time and effort. Plus I had the time to go ahead and do it, and you're gonna see the changes as we go through. There's oil leaks everywhere. It's just it was an absolute mess done by the previous owner's mechanic or what have you, of oil leaks and coolant leaks and whatnot, and just a total crappy job all the way around. Some of the gaskets were even missing. There were no exhaust manifold gaskets on the car to speak of, and so whatever work they had done before absolutely messed up this engine, and we corrected all that. You'll see the difference before and after, and it'll kind of help prepare you for what to expect if you're doing this job yourself or if you're taking it to a mechanic. I highly recommend you watch the video just so that you have a better idea of what you're getting into, what to expect, and the amount of work that needs to be done to do this job right. Because I have more time invested now into the actual prep of doing the job than the actual doing the job and changing the head gaskets. I had to resurface, or I should say clean, the head surfaces, the exhaust surfaces, the intake manifolds. Everything was just, you know, gunked up, dirty, and improperly done from a previous person. So that's where we'll stand. The rest of the narration will probably be voiceover that I'll do after I put together the video. So hopefully you'll find it helpful. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe during when you're watching or after you're finished watching. So let's get to it. Okay, at this point it was necessary to remove some of the peripheral items of the engine to make way to get in closer. The first step was to actually get closer to the source of the leaking from the heads to better ascertain what was actually going on. So here I'm taking apart part of the exhaust manifold from the front to the rear, and then I'll remove the exhaust manifold bolts from the head. Some of these were already finger loose, or close to finger loose, having not been properly tightened before, and most likely the site of some tapping exhaust noises that could be heard while the engine was running. When I pulled it out, there was an exhaust gasket on the crossover, but no exhaust gasket to the head. And here we can see a better shot of some of the leaking. Now at that point I hadn't even noticed yet that the head stud was cracked there. It's this point that I actually saw it, and that led me to believe that that was the source of the problem. Alright, here I'm loosening up the bolts and some of the electrical connections of the throttle body. Also, looks like either I have or will remove the cable linkages. EGR valve had to be removed. And once that was taken apart, then it was able to take off the plastic plenum from the intake manifold. Once the cover was off, then I removed some of the hold down bolts to loosen the plastic plenum. One of the main things that was always on my mind was whether I was going to get all these surfaces to reseal. You can see here some of the ports on the intake manifold were pretty dirty. I'm removing the injectors there. In order to do this job, I purchased a headset, and then I had to also purchase the intake manifold gasket set. It had all the gaskets necessary, including the missing exhaust ones, and also included new O-rings for the injectors. Once the intake manifold bolts were removed, I just kind of tapped or fist bumped the intake manifold to break the seal on it, and then it lifted out of place. Valve cover gaskets are next to be removed. Oh no, looks like the intake gasket, which actually bolts down. And then we're going to remove the valve cover gaskets. Now, this front head was fairly easy to remove. Once I loosened the head bolts, then the head just came right off. The rear head was a little more problematic. It was a lot harder to get to the exhaust manifold, and also move some brackets from the power steering out of the way. Here's the first time we see the head. I don't know how much you can see here.
Here's our problem. Our broken stud
and carbon coated. It's difficult to get clean. And that was the broken stud you just saw there. Some still shots. Put everything on a pallet, soaked it in cleaner, and then pressure washed them and made sure I dried them off. And here we can see them prepped and reinstalled. I'll show some more video of that. Here's the new gaskets on the plenum and valve covers. Really high quality stuff. I was very impressed with the quality of the Fel-Pro gasket sets. Alright, we kind of jumped along here, and we're already installing the new parts and kind of placing them in place so that I can get a feel for what order I need to put it back together and what it's going to look like. Alright, every surface had to be cleaned, and then I reinstalled the valve covers. I'm basically using the air ratchet here just to save time. I didn't I went back and checked the torque or tightness of each bolt with a ratchet. Now, a very important step coming up was that gasket sealant had to be used down in that valley. I cleaned it all up with the solvent and then inserted the sealant there. And then the intake gasket setup gets bolted down. And it's time for the intake manifold to get installed. That has to be torqued down also, including the heads that were already torqued down. Now you can see a little discoloration on top of that intake manifold from the cleaning fluid. I'm going to wipe that off before I see. Now it's gone before I put the injector assembly and fuel rail back in. I use a little WD-40 to lubricate those injectors so they would slide in easier.
and then the plenum attaches back on top of the intake manifold. Part that was left out was the power pack got reinstalled, and I had to look up the firing orders to redo the new wire set, because when I removed it I didn't take careful note of how those ignition wires were sequenced. EGR valve goes back on. I have to say, in fast motion, it really makes it look like this was an easy job, but it did take place over the course of a few days. Power steering pump, reservoir, reattached, throttle body getting reattached now. I actually misordered some of this and how I put it together, and I had to take some of it back apart to get that plenum cover on. Air intake installed, and we are coming to the end. I installed some coolant there. A couple of pictures of the setup, new wires, etc. As we're putting it back together. Filled up the power steering fluid too to make sure that that was topped off. And in a minute we'll get ready to start it.
Alright, so here we are at the end of this journey, and as I probably mentioned in the voiceover preceding this, this is a how you don't want to do this type of job video. It was quite involved. As you can see if you watch it this far, the video's intention was never to show you how to do it, but to show you what's involved and how hard of a job it is. Frankly, I don't think I would do it again. We're just about at the point to start it up. I anticipate some smoking from in here, since a lot of the surfaces on the exhaust were touched by me and got oily, so that's going to have to burn off. There was also some power steering fluid spills and such during the process that probably need to burn off. Might smoke a little bit out of the tailpipe due to the fact that we had the heads off, and WD-40 and other chemicals that I use might be in the cylinders. And it might be a little bit hard to start because fuel has to pump back into the fuel rail and through the injectors. But other than that, I anticipate it should start up, right? Cross our fingers. I put a gallon of coolant in. I'm probably going to fill the rest up with water. I need to check the power steering fluid. I did fill it already. It actually looks good. I'm going to check that again after it's driven, since some of that has to pump through the line too, since we lost some of that when we disconnected the reservoir. But all in all, I don't know if you can see me because I turned the light off, but we should be done. And I think I'm going to go ahead and try to give it a crank. Looks like I spilled some coolant anyway, even though I use the phone. Well, I gotta tell you, that started a whole lot better than what I anticipated. It's running good. I can hear the lifters a little bit. I'm wondering if oil needs to pump through there since the push rod tubes were out. I mean, it is not a new engine. It has close to 200,000 miles on it, so well, before it heats up too much, I'm going to go ahead and put some water in the radiator. And then I'll be on the road for a test drive. Alright, so hopefully you found this video helpful for what it's worth. Again, it's not a how-to like my other ones. I might even label it as a how-to because that's just my MO. It's just to give you an idea of what's in store if you decide to change the head gaskets. If I had to do it all over again, I probably would change that one broken head bolt, just torque that down, and then either put it for sale or use it as a trade-in. But it is what it is. I started it, so I went ahead and completed it. A couple other things I did that I did not show, which I probably should have did a how-to video on, was I noticed that the water pump had some staining on it, so that's been changed. And I also went ahead and changed the serpentine belt, the drive belt, while I had that off, so that you know, just kind of good precautionary stuff. Alright, well, if you liked it, give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, you can go ahead and leave them below. I'll try to get back to you. I try to answer most of the actual questions that I can answer. Check out our sponsors. They're the reason videos like this are possible. It's an important part. And I guess, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.